Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm here with a review of the Marvel Legends Deadpool Legacy Collection Deadpool action figure from the first and second movie. Now you may be seeing this video on release of the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, which comes out later this month. I am recording this review at the start of July and will be uploading it on the week of release for the movie, just because I know a lot of people are very excited for this movie and may be looking for a Deadpool action figure after the release. So hopefully you can come to this review and I can show you how good of a figure this is. Now, this is a old action figure which is being repackaged in this brand new Deadpool Legacy Collection box and re-released. This was initially in a 2-pack for the first movie and was quite an expensive 2-pack, which I believe led to a lot of people not picking it up, including myself actually. But this did actually come out again in a recolor of the sort of burnt Deadpool from the second movie in an Amazon exclusive, which I actually had that version and I did really like it. So I think it should be the same figure, just a few different accessories. But I do just want to get this review out for everyone else. But I do already know how good this figure is. So it is a pretty good figure. So I'll be getting into it soon. But yeah, the box, very, very nice. I do really like this Legacy Collection box. It's very new for the Marvel Legends line. We've got a picture of Deadpool here from the movie. Obviously, you've got the figure itself, the text from the movie as well. A couple of logos there, and then again, more pictures from the movie. So yeah, a really, really nice box. And they did also release the Wolverine in the Deadpool Legacy Collection box. The Wolverine from X-Men Origins, I believe, where he's wearing the vest and stuff. I actually have the original release for that figure, so I am going to be comparing the two later, which is the reason why I haven't picked up the Legacy Collection one with it. But it is a great opportunity for those who don't actually have it to grab it. So yeah, they've re-released these for I think around £22. So I would definitely try and grab these if you get the chance. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the box and have a closer look at the figure. So just before we take a closer look at the figure, I'm just going to keep him in the shell so we can have a look at his accessories in a bit of an easier way. So at the bottom here, as you can see, we've got the swords. We've got the unicorn here. We've got the sword holding hands. We've got the gun holding hands. We've got the fist hands, the knife, and he comes with the open palm hands on out of the packaging. And we've also got his guns here in the holsters, which I'll do a closer look at in the next shot. So guys, here is Deadpool out of the packaging, and just before we take a closer look at him, I just want to show you the guns, which will be in the holster, and he is struggling to stay up at the moment because I've got him in a bit of a funny position. But yeah, the guns will be in the holster, and here is a closer look at those because, you know, the guns themselves have been very, very weird in terms of this figure's past. So essentially, with the first release, these guns were molded into the holster, so you couldn't take them out. You could with some heat, but it would end up cracking the holster, which is not ideal. Then he was given 2 separate guns, which looked like toys, essentially. They had like these weird suppressor things on the end, which made them look very fake. I think for legal reasons, I think now it's changed, and now they can use models based off real guns, so they are adding those now, which is very nice, and this will look a lot better. So that, I think, is the major difference with this figure compared to the first release. But I think it is a very, very big upgrade because guns are a very big part of Deadpool's personality in the movies and in the comics, so you do want realistic looking ones. So yeah, that is a very welcome change. Another thing I just want to point out with this figure is that some of the hands are painted and some of the hands aren't. So the fist hands and these open hands are not painted. So this back part of the hand is not painted. It's supposed to be painted silver color. But the holding hands for both the guns and the swords are painted. So that is just a really weird thing. I think the original release was like that as well. I don't know why. Just paint all of them or just leave them all unpainted. It's just a bit of a weird one. So yeah, Now, taking a closer look at Deadpool, as you can see, I've added all of his accessories in to the places where they are supposed to sit. So the swords are back here, the guns are here as they are out the packaging anyway, and the knife is down here. They all fit in really nice and securely, so you won't have to worry about them falling out, as you will with the SH figure arts, but that's a separate problem that we'll move on to later on in the video. But this figure does look fantastic. It has always had this very screen accurate look to it. The detailing of the suit is really nice. As you can see, there's really nice patterns going across the whole figure, and the paint is also really nice as well, with all the belts and just all of these nice accessories painted. It doesn't have the best paint job, like I said, the hands, I don't understand what that's all about, and there is like a few places where you think it could use an extra bit of paint, but for the most part they've got every major detail covered. And yeah, I do really like the look of this figure. One thing I would say is that I would like it to be a brighter red, but I do think we are going to get a Deadpool 3 version, which obviously in that design the suit is brighter anyway. As you can see, this is a little bit darker, and it does look lighter in person, but on camera it shows up quite dark. And the belt looks also really nice as well. This isn't perfectly centered, but I think that's going to depend on each copy. So on most copies, I imagine it'll probably be perfect. The eyes also look really nice as well, very bright. So yeah, they pop out as well. But overall, looks pretty fantastic, to be fair. And now let's move on to the articulation. So getting into the articulation for this Deadpool, the head can look up about that much, which is pretty good. Down, like, not much at all. I don't even think any at all, which is quite bad, actually. You can feel the neck hinging slightly, but it doesn't actually have an articulation point there, so I would be slightly careful with that. I don't really know what's going on with that, but it does hinge slight forward and back, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that anyway. But yeah, you've got the 360 tilt, and then you've got an okay amount of tilt side to side wise. But yeah, that's the articulation of the head. It's okay, but it's not the best. And then coming down to the torso, we've got the ab crunching forward about that far, which is really good. This will move out the way, but it's still quite hard to articulate it with it there. Crunch back about that far, which is decent. And then you've got the waist swivel, which is standard for Marvel Legends. And then we've got the butterfly joints for the arms, which is going to help it if I just move this forward. I really like the butterfly joints on this figure. I think it's some of the best on Marvel Legends, to be fair. So yeah, that's going to be really nice when posing him. And the arms come up, as you can already see. But if I move it to the side and then up about that far. Then we've got the bicep swivel. We've also got 360, obviously, with the arms. And then we've got the double jointed elbows. This one is a little bit stuck at the moment, so I will have to heat that up after the review. I think it can do the single joint, but the double joint doesn't want to move for some reason. So yeah, we've got the double jointed elbows. We've got the hands, which can turn, and then we've got the hands, which are also on hinges. So they'll be able to hinge up and down. Moving on to the legs, they can kick forward about that far, which is okay. Back a really nice amount. And then we've got the thigh swivel. You could probably do the splits, I imagine. The guns will get in the way, and you don't really want to warp those. So if you take out the guns for a second, just put those to the side and then do that. Then we've got the double jointed knees. And then we've also got the feet can go back about that far forward. And then we've also got the ankle pivot as well. So yeah, a really nice amount of articulation for what is a basic Marvel Legends. So yeah, I actually do really like the articulation on this guy. So I just want to show Deadpool here with his guns, and they look a lot better than the guns that came with the original release, and they also add a lot more character to this figure, and they fit the character of Deadpool so well. You know, he's always using the guns in the movies. The movie is also very violent as well, so yeah, it does fit the character a lot better, and I'm happy that the rule, whatever rule it was, has been lifted, and I'm hoping in the future with not just Deadpool but other characters that use guns like Punisher and, you know, and even more Deadpool figures, that we can get a lot more realistic weapons. So for our first comparison, we have got the Marvel Legends Deadpool next to the SH Figuarts Deadpool, and on first look, there are a lot of noticeable differences. Obviously, the size, the SH Figuarts stands a lot smaller, about probably 5 inches. The look, I think the SH Figuarts actually looks a lot better, but the quality, which obviously you can't really see in terms of how well it's made, is way better on the Marvel Legends, and I think that's why I'd always pick the Marvel Legends over the SH Figuarts. I think this is one of the most poorly made SH Figuarts figures in general. His head pops off. I know people who have the legs just constantly pop off. His accessories don't stay on. So where you get that better look and the better articulation, you can't really do much with it because of poor quality. So yeah, I think that's why I really wanted to pick this one up, the Marvel Legends one, and that's why I did, realistically, because when you have a perfect SH Figuarts figure, you don't really need any other company version of that character, but this one is so poorly made that I had to get this one, and for the price difference, which is 60 on this and 20 on this, I'm picking this all day. So for our next comparison, we have got the movie Marvel Legends Deadpool next to the comic version. Now, this comic version came in a 2-pack with Hydra Bob and was a SDCC exclusive, I believe. But then it did go up on Hasbro Pulse and everywhere else. So I think a lot of people did get a chance to pick it up. And this is one of my favorite versions of Deadpool in terms of action figure form. I think that is easily the best comic Deadpool that you can get for its price. The look, the articulation, and the accessories that you get with it, because the accessories that come with this 2-pack are outstanding. And yeah, obviously there's a lot of differences in terms of look and articulation. This uses the Spider-Man body, the super articulated one. This uses a standard Marvel Legends body. Now, if you did want to pick this one up, I would probably wait. I imagine it's going to come out again soon at some point, because they're not going to make a whole new sort of design with the fresh mold for this figure and not use it again. So I would wait for it to come out, probably with cell shading in a maybe VHS box or something like that. But yeah, these two actually look fantastic next to each other, and I'm very happy to have both in the collection. And finally, we have Deadpool and Wolverine together. This is the original Marvel Legends release for this figure, which I believe was an Amazon exclusive from X-Men Origins, which came with a few more accessories. I think it came with the alternate head, the bone claws, and the dog tags that he wears in those movies. Now, I believe that the Legacy Collection, which is obviously a re-release of this figure, has a slight few changes, maybe less accessories. I don't know, because I haven't picked it up, or I haven't really looked at it either. So if you do have that figure, do let me know in the comments what the differences are. But yeah, these two look great next to each other. So to sum up my final thoughts on this figure, I do think that it is an absolutely fantastic figure, especially for the price point. It looks great, has amazing accessories, especially with the upgraded guns, which look more realistic, and also poses pretty well, especially for a £20 figure. I think that this is a must-have for any fan of the first 2 Deadpool movies, and even after Deadpool 3, there isn't going to be a figure out for that in terms of accuracy, because the suit is a bit different. So this might be the one that you want to pick up after you see the movie, and they do have it in stock in a lot of places, and for the UK I'll leave a link down below. But I got this one from Star Action Figures, so thank you so much to them for sending that out really quickly and stuff. So yeah, an absolutely fantastic figure. I think I'm going to give it an overall rating of about 8 out of 10. I did already own a previous version of this figure in terms of the Amazon exclusive, so I knew what I was getting into, and it still holds up. So yeah, I would definitely recommend picking it up. But if you did enjoy the review, don't forget to leave a like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share with all your family and friends, and also don't forget to check out my other social medias, link in the description below, and I'll catch you in the next video.